Masquera say Mre Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel, Zoom Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kana kake kutime kako kuya paneno channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchungwa gara ka subscriber, don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi Mre Zimbabwe takwigira nyaya ya buditswa ya Christopher Mutsvangwa ya Rukunzi. He has now turned to G40 for help. Mre Zimbabwe tingazive kuti munoona sei nyaya iyi ndafunga Neville Mutsvangwa nezuro akarambirwa bail mushure mekunge the National Prosecution Authority yataura yachiti Neville anokwanisa kutiza mushure mekunge apiwa bail zvinzi paakabatwa nemapurisa police had to use minimum force kuti Neville Mutsvangwa awanikwa achibatwa zvinzi akawanikwa akawanda between mawalls anga ari pajuraho yake zvinzi anga ari mumasaga yanga akazadzwa westerns akawanda imomo zvinzi so akapiwa bail ari likely to run away of the country Mre Zimbabwe. So munyaya yachinja this case Runzano PF spokesperson Christopher Mutsvangwa is now being represented by disqualified presidential candidate Asiwa Kasukuwere spokesperson Jacqueline Sande, and he is the one who represents nyaya ya Neville Mutsvangwa. Theoretically speaking, Neville na baba wake, they are free to choose a legal representative of their choice, but decision yamekwa yekuita contact nema lawyers Kasukuwere hanzi inokwana kusparka controversy Mre Zimbabwe. Zvinzi zvakare nemareports akabuditswa na Christopher Mutsvangwa kuti Chiwenga ari kuda kuvhiringidza. Chiwenga is the one ari behind the arrest yemwana wake. Hanzi zvakare this contact yavaita nema lawyers Kasukuwere G40 hanzi zvinogona kureiza my eyebrows Mre Zimbabwe. In fact, it's likely to have played very badly and hardened attitudes towards Chris. This is because, despite the passage of time, ED and his regime have appeared to struggle to deal with the ghost of G40. We all saw how over the top the regime's reaction to Tyson's candidacy was, as the regime is dismissive of technical matters such as attorney-client privilege. Its reading will be that by putting their son's fate in Kasukuwere's lawyer, Chris and Monica have turned their backs on the regime and burned their bridges. The regime will speculate that this saga will draw Chris and Tyson closer together politically, and for this, it's more likely than not that it will be taken out on Neville via a long and drawn-out remand process, repeated bail denials, and being singled out by majorigad or prison officials for harsher treatment. Ndo zvakabuditswa zvichitaurwa na one of my UK based lawyers yanonzi Brighton Mutebuka akaita analysis yake achiti nyaya iyi yakora moto. It's now more political than ever. Since the regime ichafunga kuti there is a relationship between Tyson and Kasukuwere, they are linked together according to Temba Mliswa akambotaura achiti Christopher Mutsvangwa aida kubvisa President Mnangagwa achibatsirwa nana Kasukuwere Mre Zimbabwe. So this was the full analysis yaitwa na Brighton Mutebuka Mre Zimbabwe vachinyora pa X ndo yavo vakataura vachiti the most likely outcome has been confirmed, namely that Neville Mutsvangwa has been denied bail and returned to Reeds. B, raised in a life of privilege, comfort and opulence, it is clear that he is going to find the war experience traumatic. C, such children tend to struggle to adapt in such situations owing to difficulties with coping with stressful situations. And the D, mental and emotional resilience is likely to be threadbare. This is something his parents would also be aware of, thereby condemning the whole family to weeks of anguish, misery, and intense pain. E, the established precedence in the Zim legal system is that magistrates tend to be more likely to embrace gatekeeping tendencies as they are more amenable to being dictated to although the long-running Sikala and Shabangu sagas suggest that the malaise has now spread to the High and Supreme Courts as well. If the expectation is now that Neviu's representatives will submit an appeal against the decision to deny him bail at the High Court. G. Given that Neviu is a politically exposed person and given the political intricacies, it's rank naivety to think that the case will be looked at free from the political interference. H. One of the twists in the case is that Neviu is being represented by my colleague Sunday Jacqueline. Theoretically speaking, Neviu and his parents are free to choose a legal representative of their choice. Realistically speaking, though, given the post we saw from ZANU-PF patriots on Friday, if I am not mistaken, the fact that my colleague was barred presidential candidate Honorable Kasukuwere spokesperson and attorney in the August 2023 sham elections, the regime will likely politicize that decision and take a dime view of it. ZANU-PF is not renowned for objectivity and rationality in such situations, given its tendency to be paranoid. That decision is likely to have privately caused eyebrows to be raised and perceived conspiratorial terms, thereby potentially reducing the chances of bail being granted. In fact, it's likely to have played very badly and hardened attitudes towards Chris. This is because, despite the passage of time, ED and his regime have appeared to struggle to deal with the ghost of G40. We also how over the top the regime's reaction to Tyson's candidacy was, as the regime is dismissive of technical matters such as the attorney-client privilege. Its reading will be that by putting their son's fate in Kasukuwere's lawyer, Chris and Monica have turned their backs on the regime and burned their bridges. The regime will speculate that this saga will draw Chris and Tyson closer together politically, and for this, it's more likely than not that this will be taken out on Neviu via a long and drawn-out remand process, repeated bail denials, and being singled out by Majerigad or prison officials for harsher treatment. Conclusion: a combination of Chris' outburst directed at Chiwenga over the weekend, which made headline news, and choosing Sunday to represent Neviu means that it's now more likely than not that estrangement will deepen, and Chris will be cast aside in the vast political wilderness and left at the mercy of apex political predators. ED is clearly playing the long game. He would have calculated that Chris is expendable in the pursuit of the bigger prize. Chris's tirade creates additional pressure for ED to put even more clear water between him and Chris, so as to placate a likely restive Chiwenga and prove that he does not share Chris's reckless and provocative sentiments. Na Brighton Mutebuka mre Zimbabwe analyze the situation ya vapo Austrians. Chris Mutsvangwa have now turned to G40 lawyers since anogona ani relationship yanayo na Kasukuwere mre Zimbabwe. Tikazomunona sei nyaya iyi tiudzeo zvamunofunga pamusoro penyaya iyi mu comment section.